Good evening, and welcome to our extended news bulletin. Tonight, we bring you updates from around the globe, covering a range of significant events. Let's delve into the latest developments.
Earthbeat, pulse of the planet.
Slovak nationalist left government candidate Peter Pellegrini has secured victory in Slovakia's presidential election, further solidifying the influence of pro-Russian Prime Minister Robert Fico. With 53.26% of the vote, Pellegrini defeated pro-Western opposition candidate Ivan Korkok, signaling a shift towards more pro-Russian policies in the country. Fico's coalition government, which includes Pellegrini's party, has pursued a foreign policy aligned with Russia and implemented reforms that raised concerns about the rule of law. Pellegrini's win marks a resurgence for Fico, who has faced electoral setbacks in previous presidential elections. The victory reflects growing support for Fico's administration and its policies, which prioritize closer ties with Russia and oppose Western influence in the region. Amidst the backdrop of the United States-led joint military exercises involving the Philippines, Japan, and Australia in the disputed South China Sea, China has announced military combat patrols in the same area. The surprise naval drill from Beijing's People's Liberation Army, PLA, Southern Theater Command came shortly after defense chiefs from the four countries disclosed plans for joint drills in the region. China's assertive move underscores its sovereignty claims over much of the South China Sea, despite a 2016 ruling by The Hague disputing these claims. Tensions escalated further as China's Coast Guard clashed with the Philippines over alleged illegal activities near Iroquois Reef, with both sides exchanging accusations. Meanwhile, the joint drills hosted by the Philippines aim to ensure freedom of navigation in accordance with international law, according to U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. The exercises, dubbed the Maritime Cooperative Activity, involve naval and air force units from the four countries and include anti-submarine warfare training to uphold stability in the Indo-Pacific region. Yemen's Houthi rebels have claimed responsibility for launching missiles at ships in the Red Sea, including those reportedly belonging to Israel and Britain. The attacks are part of ongoing hostilities, with the rebels citing solidarity with Palestinians during conflicts with Israel. The recent strikes follow a series of similar incidents that have disrupted maritime traffic in the region. The Houthis have targeted vessels, including one identified as British-flagged, while also allegedly aiming at ships purportedly belonging to Israel. The attacks coincide with diplomatic engagements, including a meeting between Iran's foreign minister and a senior Houthi official, highlighting regional tensions. In response to the escalating violence, the United States, along with coalition forces, has conducted airstrikes on Houthi targets in Yemen, intensifying the conflict. In a tragic development, the village of Adam in Sudan fell victim to a brutal paramilitary attack by the Rapid Support Forces, RSF, on Saturday. Located 150 kilometers south of the city, the village was assaulted, resulting in a devastating toll on its residents. According to the local resistance committee, over 200 individuals were wounded, with both serious and minor injuries, while more than 20 lost their lives, later rising to 25 fatalities. The attack exacerbated the already dire situation in Sudan's ongoing war between the military, led by Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, and the RSF, commanded by former Deputy Mohammed Hamdan Daglo. This conflict, which began last April, has led to widespread devastation, including the displacement of over 8.5 million people and the near collapse of the country's infrastructure. The assault on Adam underscores the urgent need for humanitarian assistance in Sudan, where health facilities are overwhelmed and resources are scarce. Both sides in the conflict have been accused of war crimes, further exacerbating the suffering of civilians caught in the crossfire. A devastating ferry disaster off the north coast of Mozambique has claimed the lives of over 90 people, local authorities confirm. The tragedy occurred as the overcrowded vessel, carrying around 130 passengers, sank while fleeing a cholera outbreak in Nampula province. According to officials, only 5 individuals were rescued, leaving many children among the deceased. The boat's unsuitability for passenger transport exacerbated the catastrophe, leading to its tragic sinking, explained Nampula Secretary of State Jamie Netu. Disturbing footage circulated on social media purportedly shows numerous bodies strewn across a beach, highlighting the scale of the tragedy. The ferry was en route from Lunga to Mozambique Island, with some victims already laid to rest in accordance with Islamic customs. The incident compounds the challenges facing Mozambique, including a cholera epidemic and the ongoing conflict in Cabo Delgado province. While boat accidents are not uncommon, the magnitude of this disaster underscores the urgent need for enhanced maritime safety measures and oversight. Hamas official reported that the latest round of ceasefire talks in Cairo, attended by delegations from Israel, Qatar, and the United States, did not yield any progress. The official, speaking anonymously, stated that there has been no change in Israel's position, resulting in no advancement in the negotiations. Despite earlier reports suggesting progress, the Hamas official emphasized that no tangible results were achieved. The talks come as CIA Director William Burns arrived in Egypt to bolster U.S. efforts to broker a deal to secure the release of hostages held in Gaza and alleviate the humanitarian crisis. However, the fundamental disagreements between Israel and Hamas regarding the terms of the ceasefire persist. Hamas seeks an end to Israel's offensive and a complete withdrawal from Gaza, while Israel insists on the release of hostages in exchange for Palestinian prisoners without committing to end the conflict. Hundreds of residents have been evacuated in Australia's New South Wales state after heavy rainfall and strong winds battered communities west of Sydney. Evacuation orders are still in place for several towns along the Nepean and Hawkesbury rivers, where swollen rivers pose a threat to homes. Emergency services reported around 300 homes evacuated in northeast Sydney, with volunteers working tirelessly to assist those affected. The severe weather has caused landslides, flash flooding, and inundated homes, prompting over 200 flood rescues. State Emergency Commissioner Carleen York stated that 60 emergency warnings are still active, with at least a dozen evacuation orders issued. Residents and business owners are now assessing the damage caused by the deluge, with rainfall reaching a month's worth in just 24 hours. The military regime in Myanmar has suffered another significant defeat, this time along the eastern border with Thailand. After enduring weeks of attacks by ethnic Karen insurgents and anti-coup forces, hundreds of troops guarding the strategic border town of Myawaddy have agreed to surrender. Most of Myanmar's trade with Thailand passes through Myawaddy, making its loss a substantial blow to the military regime. The Karen National Union, allied with other insurgent groups, has successfully negotiated the surrender of troops and captured a substantial arsenal of weapons. This defeat adds to the military junta's setbacks, as it has also been driven out of other areas along the Chinese border and in Rakhine State near Bangladesh. The Karen insurgency, fueled by the 2021 coup, has intensified, with dissidents fleeing to Karen State and joining the fight against the military. The balance of power in Karen State has shifted in favor of the opposition, aided by militias switching sides and the military's inability to reinforce its positions. In response to these losses, the junta has escalated airstrikes on insurgent-controlled areas, displacing thousands of civilians and exacerbating the humanitarian crisis in the region.
That concludes our special report. We will continue to follow these stories as they develop. Thank you for watching. Good night. Subscribe for further updates.